Some customers don't just complain, they demand reality adjust to them. This video counts down 101 absolutely delusional customer demands where people expected employees, companies, and even nature itself to rewrite physics, biology, and common sense just to keep them happy. These aren't misunderstandings. These are confident, serious requests that should never exist. And yet somehow they do. 1. A barista on Reddit shared a story about a woman who ordered a cappuccino but demanded absolutely zero foam. When the employee explained that a cappuccino without foam is literally just a latte, she threw a fit and screamed she knew what she wanted. So they gave her a cup of hot milk and espresso, charged her extra, and she called it perfect. Humans are doomed. 2. Tech support is a goldmine for insanity, but this one takes the cake. A customer called furious that his brand new wireless printer wasn't working. After 40 minutes of troubleshooting, the agent asked if it was plugged into a power outlet. The guy went silent and then asked why it needs a power cord if the box clearly says wireless. I just cannot today. 3. You would think basic survival instincts would prevent this, but apparently not. A guest at a high-end steakhouse sent her chicken breast back to the kitchen 3 separate times because it was too dry. She finally summoned the manager and demanded the chicken be cooked medium rare like a steak. She expected the kitchen to temporarily suspend food safety standards just to satisfy her personal definition of doneness, as if USDA guidelines were optional suggestions rather than rules meant to keep people alive. 4. Costco employees have seen it all, but nothing beats the woman who stood in line to return a dead Christmas tree. On January 4th, she looked the cashier dead in the eye and said it was defective because it died after Christmas. The worst part is that the manager actually approved the refund just to get her out of the store. 5. A travel agent received a formal complaint letter from a family who went on a beach vacation in Spain. They were demanding a full refund because the beach was too sandy. They claimed the sand got everywhere and ruined their relaxation. Next time, maybe try a parking lot if you hate nature that much. 6. This one actually went viral on local radio. A woman called the Department of Transportation to demand they move the deer crossing sign on the highway to a lower traffic area. She genuinely believed the sign told the deer where it was safe to cross and was mad they were encouraging animals to cross a busy road. 7. A pizza delivery guy swears this happened. A customer called the store, screaming that they cut his large pizza into 12 slices instead of 8. He insisted that he explicitly asked for 8 slices because he wasn't hungry enough to eat 12 pieces. Math is hard, but pizza math is apparently impossible. 8. A mechanic shared a ticket where a customer complained about a mysterious liquid leaking from their car every time they used the air conditioner on a hot day. They demanded a full engine replacement. The mechanic had to explain that it was literally just water condensation. You know, like a cold drink sweats? They still left a 1-star review. 9. A professional wedding photographer was asked to remove the groom from all the photos after the wedding because the bride decided she looked good, but she was divorcing him 3 weeks later. She wanted a discount since she was doing the photographer a favor by keeping the photos relevant. The audacity is actually impressive. 10. A gas station clerk had a customer come in waving a scratched-off lottery ticket that clearly didn't win. He demanded his money back, insisting the ticket was defective because it failed to produce the jackpot he expected. When told that losing tickets are part of how lotteries work, he threatened to sue the state lottery commission for selling him a broken product, treating gambling like a warranty program instead of a game of chance. 11. After 5 years of sleeping on the same bed, a woman dragged her mattress back to the store, claiming it was defective because it was haunted. She insisted she only had nightmares on that specific fabric and demanded a full refund plus a fee for spiritual cleansing. The manager actually offered store credit just to avoid being cursed by a demon with back problems. 12. Dining at a strict vegan bistro apparently didn't stop one guy from demanding a meat lover's pizza. When told they don't serve animals, he insisted the waiter run to a deli, buy pepperoni, and put it on his vegan cheese because he had a sudden medical protein deficiency. I'm pretty sure that is not how doctors prescribe medicine, but okay. 13. The view of Tower Bridge was apparently crucial because a tourist in London filed a formal complaint that the fog was blocking his sightline. He genuinely expected the concierge to have a button behind the desk to turn off the weather for VIP guests. I guess when you pay premium room rates, you assume you bought the rights to the atmosphere itself. 14. Logic took a permanent holiday when a college student tried to return her laptop for being too heavy. She neglected to mention she had personally glued thousands of glass rhinestones to the lid. She argued the store was negligent for not warning her that adding 2 pounds of solid glass would make the object heavier. Gravity is such a harsh mistress. 15. You don't need a physics degree to know this is impossible, but a coffee shop regular demanded her iced coffee be served steaming hot, yet still full of solid ice cubes. She wanted the crunch of the ice without the temperature drop. Thermodynamics decided to take a personal day off just to accommodate this specific beverage request. 16. 30,000 feet in the air is a bad place to negotiate with reality. But one passenger pressed the call button to ask the flight attendant to open the actual glass window. He claimed it was getting stuffy and he needed a breeze, completely ignoring the fact that oxygen at that altitude is basically just a suggestion. 17. It took 3 years for a customer to return a novel to a bookstore, but her reasoning was timeless. She wanted a full refund because she finally read the ending and hated it, telling the clerk the author misled her and she deserved financial compensation for emotional distress. Apparently, the receipt is now a warranty for artistic satisfaction. 18. Marketing photos are usually misleading, but a drive-thru worker got screamed at because a customer's burger looked like the picture, but didn't taste like the picture looked. I am still trying to wrap my head around the sensory synesthesia required to taste a JPEG. Maybe next time he should try licking the menu board first. 19. Grocery stores supposedly hide secrets, at least according to a shopper who demanded a gallon of milk with an expiration date 3 months in the future. When told fresh milk expires in 2 weeks, she accused the clerk of hoarding the good vintage milk in the back for themselves, because nothing says luxury like aged dairy. 20. Weight loss is hard, but it's harder when you don't show up. A gym member demanded a refund for 6 months of fees because he hadn't lost a single pound. He admitted he never actually went to the gym, but he thought paying the monthly fee was enough to burn calories by financial osmosis. 21. Sleep is precious, which is why a hotel guest requested a wake-up call for 7 in the morning, only to scream at the front desk for actually waking him up. He claimed he only requested the call so he would know when he could have woken up, not to be disturbed from his slumber. That logic is playing 4D chess with itself. 22. Reality briefly malfunctioned for one customer when she brought a goldfish back to the pet store claiming it was drowning. She insisted it spent too much time underwater, looked short of breath, and demanded to exchange it for a fish that liked water more. She fully expected the staff to acknowledge that her aquatic pet had failed at being aquatic, and seemed genuinely confused when no such upgrade option existed. 23. Language barriers are tricky, especially when they don't exist. A movie theater manager dealt with a furious patron who wanted the subtitles to be in Spanish, but the audio to stay in English. The movie was in English. He refused to believe the theater didn't generate live custom translations just for his specific seat. 24. Buying a house near the ocean comes with certain perks, but the noise isn't for everyone. A buyer told her real estate agent she would only close the deal if they contacted the city council to turn down the volume of the waves at night. Poseidon is currently in a meeting with HR to discuss noise ordinances. 25. Dogs are notoriously picky eaters, said no one ever. Yet, a bakery customer returned a custom dog cake demanding a refund because her pet refused to eat it. She insisted the baker should have intuitively known her dog's specific flavor palette better than the owner did. The dog was probably just judging her financial decisions. 26. Hydration became a complicated issue when a woman at a bar specifically requested water with gluten-free ice. She insisted that regular frozen water made her bloated and demanded the bartender show her the packaging for the ice to prove it was safe. I have so many questions about her understanding of chemistry, but mostly I just want to know where she thinks ice actually comes from. 27. Toy store employees are used to managing disappointed kids, but this time the meltdown came from an adult. A customer tried to return a jigsaw puzzle because it arrived broken into 1,000 pieces. He demanded a refund or a pre-assembled version. explaining that he wanted to frame the picture immediately without doing the work himself. He expected the store to sell puzzles that magically skipped the puzzle part entirely, as if assembly was an optional inconvenience rather than the entire product. 28. Tech support was speechless when a man demanded a free replacement for his shattered laptop under warranty. He had placed the device on the floor and stood on the screen, assuming the scale app he downloaded turned the glass into a digital bathroom scale. He insisted the manufacturer was liable for the damage because the app description didn't explicitly say, "Do not stand on the monitor." 29. Vacation planning is stressful, but a guest at a hotel in central Nebraska took it to a new level by demanding a room with an ocean view. When the concierge explained they were 1,000 miles from the coast, the guest accused them of false advertising because the brochure showed a pool with blue water. Geography is apparently just a state of mind for some people. 30. Ice cream parlors are simple places, yet a customer caused a scene because her scoop was simply too cold. She asked the teenager behind the counter to microwave her Rocky Road for 30 seconds so it would be warm but still hold its shape. She wanted hot soup that looked like a solid sphere, defying every law of thermodynamics known to man. 31. Self-image is a fragile thing, but one shopper stopped the store manager to demand they recalibrate the fitting room mirror immediately. She claimed the glass was defective because it distorted her reflection to look heavier than she felt, insisting they install a slimming version or financially compensate her for the emotional damage of seeing that reflection. 32. Mechanics hear a lot of strange noises, but one customer came in asking for premium air for her tires. She felt the standard air from the pump was making her ride bumpy and wanted the imported luxury oxygen she assumed wealthy people used. Someone definitely missed a massive business opportunity to sell her bottled breeze at a markup. 33. Outdoor weddings rely heavily on lighting, but a bride demanded the photographer physically move the sun. It was setting in the wrong spot for her vision, and she expected the vendor to adjust the celestial rotation of the planet to get the perfect golden hour shot. Copernicus is rolling in his grave right now, wondering why he bothered with science. 34. Produce sections are wild places where logic goes to die. A customer returned a seedless watermelon because she found soft white seeds inside. She screamed that she could have choked and died, ignoring the fact that those are undeveloped seeds and completely edible. She wanted a melon that had never even thought about reproducing in its life. 35. Haircuts are usually considered permanent, but a client at a salon burst into tears 5 minutes after the cut and demanded the stylist put the hair back on. She wasn't asking for extensions. She wanted the actual clippings on the floor reattached to her scalp organically. She genuinely thought hairdressers had a Control-Z button for scissors. 36. Home renovation took a weird turn when a woman tried to return a gallon of blue paint because it didn't match the color on her phone screen. She demanded the store remix the physical liquid to match the 100% brightness setting of her iPhone display, refusing to accept that light pixels and wall pigment are two completely different physical concepts. 37. Privacy concerns are real, but a man called his cable company demanding they block the news anchors from looking at him. He was convinced the people on TV could see into his living room when he was in his underwear. He wanted a one-way mirror installed on his screen because he felt judged by the weather reporter. 38. Brunch service stopped dead when a diner asked for an omelet made with eggs from a happy chicken. She demanded a biography of the hen and a signed affidavit that the bird had a fulfilling life before laying the breakfast. The chef considered writing a short novel about a chicken named Betsy just to get the order out of the kitchen. 39. Communication is key, even with pets. A woman returned a German Shepherd puppy because it wouldn't listen to her commands. She was dead serious when she said she needed an American Shepherd because she didn't speak German and couldn't communicate with the dog. Someone needs to tell her that dogs speak biscuit, not human languages. 40. Public libraries are free resources, yet a patron filed a formal request for the librarian to personally rewrite a biography he found too wordy. He felt the author used too many adjectives and demanded a custom, condensed version be typed up for him by Friday so he wouldn't have to slog through the descriptive paragraphs. 41. The internet is not a physical object you can hold. but a customer called his ISP in a panic after deleting his browser shortcut. He was screaming at the rep to reinstall the internet on his house immediately because he accidentally threw the entire World Wide Web into the digital recycle bin. He genuinely believed he had deleted Google for everyone on Earth. 42. Breakfast service hit a snag when a diner sent his toast back, not because it was burnt, but because he changed his mind. He demanded the waitress untoast the bread back to soft white slices because he didn't want to wait for a fresh batch to be made. He apparently thinks toasters have a rewind setting that defies chemistry. 43. Visual merchandising is apparently too effective because a woman demanded the store sell her the actual mannequin's plastic legs. She was furious that the jeans she tried on didn't look the same on her as they did in the display, and insisted the only solution was to surgically swap her lower half for the fiberglass display props. 44. Booking a room with a view implies you accept nature's schedule, but a resort guest called the front desk to formally request they reschedule the sunrise. He wanted the sun to come up at 9 in the morning instead of 6 because the light was waking him up too early on his vacation. The solar system is currently reviewing his ticket. 45. Buying a used car involves accepting its history, but one buyer refused to sign the paperwork unless the dealer reset the odometer to 0. He argued that since he was becoming the new owner that day, his personal mileage count should start at 0, completely ignoring that federal fraud laws are not just friendly suggestions. 46. Relaxation is subjective, but a woman stopped her outdoor massage midway through to demand the therapist turn off the birds chirping in the trees. She claimed the birds were singing off-key and ruining her zen, insisting the spa staff had a remote control to mute the local wildlife. Nature is lovely until it fails to follow a sheet music composition. 47. A packed movie theater is not a private living room, yet a man marched up to the projection booth and demanded they pause the film for the entire audience. He had to use the restroom and insisted it was unfair for the movie to continue while he was gone. Main character syndrome is apparently terminal with this one. 48. Grocery store return policies are generous, but a customer tested the limits by returning a completely clean, empty ham bone. She demanded a full refund because the ham was too salty, a fact she apparently only realized after her family had devoured every single ounce of the meat. It takes confidence to digest the evidence and still ask for your money back. 49. Animal shelters see a lot of mismatched expectations, but a family returned an adopted cat because it was broken. Their specific demand for a refund was based on the fact that the cat refused to bark when strangers approached the house. They wanted to exchange it for a guard cat that understood how to act like a Doberman. 50. Modern connectivity has limits, but a passenger on a commercial flight demanded the pilot fly the plane lower, specifically under 5,000 feet. He wasn't afraid of heights. He just wanted to get a cell phone signal to send a text message. Risking the lives of 200 people for a text seems like a totally reasonable trade-off to him. 51. Photoshop is a powerful tool, but a client sent a photo where she blinked and demanded the editor open her eyes in post-production. She insisted he use the software to remove her eyelids and reveal what her eyes looked like underneath, believing the camera captured X-ray layers of reality rather than just light. 52. Emergency services were warning residents to take cover during a tornado warning, but a man called a pizza place demanding delivery immediately. He argued that since the post office delivers in rain or shine, the pizza boy should also drive into a funnel cloud to bring him a pepperoni pie. A tip is nice, but it's not worth getting launched into the stratosphere. 53. Cables are messy, which is why a customer returned a standard HDMI cable to an electronics store. He wasn't claiming it was broken. He demanded a wireless cable instead. He wanted the physical wire to connect his devices, but to be invisible to the naked eye. He was technically asking for a radio transmitter, but just kept shouting, "wireless wire." 54. Swimming pools are wet by definition, yet a mother complained to hotel management that the water was too wet. She demanded they put a different, drier chemical in the pool so her children wouldn't drip so much water on the carpet when they got out. She is looking for a ball pit, not a swimming pool, but good luck explaining that. 55. Architects usually follow the laws of gravity, but a client building a custom home ordered the contractors to build the roof first. He demanded they float the roof in the air before building the walls so the workers would have shade while they worked. Minecraft physics have really ruined people's understanding of structural engineering. 56. Commercial air travel operates like a bus service in some people's minds. A passenger on a flight from New York to LA rang the call bell over Ohio because he saw his house below. He genuinely demanded the pilot pull over and let him parachute out or land on the highway, arguing it was ridiculous to fly all the way west just to fly back east. 57. Viral pranks ruin lives, as evidenced by a customer who brought in a melted smoking smartphone. He demanded a replacement and a software patch that would allow the device to microwave charge. He insisted he saw a tutorial online and that Apple was negligent for not coding the hardware to resist 5 minutes of high-intensity radiation. 58. Zoos offer a glimpse of nature, but one visitor felt the experience was too passive. She marched to the information desk demanding a refund because the lions were sleeping during her visit. She insisted the zookeepers go into the enclosure and poke the apex predators with sticks to activate them for her Instagram photo. 59. Hygiene is important, but a bank teller was screamed at for handing out dirty money. The customer threw the cash back and demanded brand new crisp bills straight from the mint. She claimed the used notes had poor people germs on them and insisted the bank run the money through a dishwasher before giving it to her. 60. Penthouse living implies top-tier amenities, yet a prospective buyer made a request that baffled the architect. He demanded they build a basement for his unit. The problem was that his unit was on the 45th floor. He wanted a subterranean wine cellar dug out under his apartment, ignoring the 44 other families living in the dirt below him. 61. Calories are a unit of energy, not a negotiable contract. A diner finished his double cheeseburger and then demanded a full refund for the food because he didn't lose weight. He claimed the waiter promised the Diet Coke would cancel out the grease, and since he still felt full, the beverage was clearly defective and failed to burn the fat. 162. Art appreciation is subjective, but a patron at a gallery took it too literally. He asked the curator to turn a portrait around, not the frame, but the image itself. He demanded they contact the deceased artist's estate to paint the back view of the woman because he wanted to see her hairstyle from the other side. 63. Beachfront property is expensive, so a hotel guest tried to negotiate with geography. He called the front desk to demand they move the ocean closer to the resort. He wasn't asking for a shuttle. He wanted the maintenance crew to dig a trench and divert the Pacific Ocean to the lobby door so he didn't have to walk across the hot sand. 64. Color theory is complicated, but a customer returned a monochrome laser printer because it refused to print in neon pink. She demanded a firmware unlock that would force the black toner cartridge to produce magenta. She was convinced that color was just a premium software setting that the manufacturer was hiding from cheap customers. 65. Fuel types are not interchangeable, but a driver filled his unleaded sedan with diesel because the nozzle color matched his shirt. When the car died, he demanded the manufacturer retrofit his engine for free to run on diesel. He argued that since the nozzle physically fit in the hole, the car was legally obligated to digest the liquid without complaint. 66. Regret is a natural part of getting bangs, but a salon client took it a step further. Immediately after the cut, she demanded the stylist put it back. She didn't want extensions. She demanded the stylist use a special serum or laser to instantly reverse time and regrow the hair on the spot, believing hair length was a toggle switch. 67. Children grow rapidly, which is usually a sign of good health. However, a mother returned a year's worth of toddler clothes demanding a full refund because her son outgrew them. She insisted the fabric was defective because it shrank relative to the child, expecting the cotton to magically expand in sync with his puberty. 68. Geometric impossibilities rarely stop hungry customers. A woman ordered a round pizza but demanded it be cut into square slices without cutting through the crust. She insisted the edge remain a perfect, unbroken circle while the inside was a grid, asking the chef to perform a topological miracle that would make Euclid weep in his grave. 69. Wireless technology has limits, but a desktop user called support demanding his computer run without a power cord. He wasn't talking about a battery. He demanded the power company beam electricity through the air directly to his PC. He cited Nikola Tesla's unfinished theories as proof that the electric company was just being lazy with their delivery methods. 70. Mirrors are passive objects, but a gym member filed a complaint that the locker room mirrors were too high definition. He demanded the management install lower-resolution glass that blurred his imperfections in real time. He essentially wanted a physical Facetune filter applied to a piece of reflective silica so he wouldn't have to look at his own sweat. 71. Sound travels in waves, but a concert-goer demanded a refund because she could hear the music. She wasn't complaining it was too loud. She was upset that the band was spoiling the album by playing the songs live. She demanded the venue put the musicians in a soundproof glass box so she could just watch them move while listening to the studio recording on her headphones. 72. A tattoo artist had a client come back 2 days after getting a sleeve of Japanese characters. The customer demanded the artist change the language of the ink to Spanish. He didn't want a cover-up. He genuinely believed the tattoo gun had a translation setting and that the artist could just toggle the existing ink from kanji to Latin alphabet. 73. Weather apps are predictions, not contracts. Yet a golfer tried to sue a course for raining on his tee time. He demanded the club manager turn off the sprinklers in the sky, convinced the rain clouds were artificial irrigation systems controlled by a hidden valve in the pro shop designed to ruin his handicap. 74. A bakery customer returned a loaf of artisanal bread because the slices were in the wrong order. She had taken the loaf home, shuffled the slices, and then demanded the baker reassemble the bread into its original sequence. She claimed the bread tasted different when the crusts weren't perfectly aligned by their molecular neighbors. 75. Gravity is a constant, but a furniture delivery team was asked to ignore it. A customer living on the 3rd floor demanded they carry a grand piano up the stairs without tilting it. When they explained the stairwell was too narrow, she insisted they shrink the piano temporarily or soften the wood to squeeze it through the gap like Play-Doh. 76. A hotel guest in Las Vegas called the front desk to complain that the Eiffel Tower outside his window was too small. He demanded they replace it with the full-sized Paris version immediately. He felt cheated by the scale replica and insisted the hotel had the budget to fly in the original monument just for his weekend trip. 77. Online shopping relies on photos, but a customer returned a pair of sunglasses because they didn't filter the world like an Instagram filter. She demanded the lenses be upgraded to make real life look like the Clarendon preset, insisting the manufacturer had falsely advertised the vibe of the product by making the model look so cool. 78. A mechanic was baffled when a car owner demanded he remove the engine noise but keep the engine power. She wanted the car to be completely silent, like an electric vehicle, but refused to switch to electric. She insisted he install a mute button on the muffler that would delete the sound waves without affecting the exhaust flow. 79. Public parks are shared spaces, but a woman called the city council to demand they reserve all the squirrels for her personal viewing. She wanted the park rangers to cage the animals and only release them when she arrived for her walk, ensuring she would have exclusive rights to the wildlife experience. 80. A tech support agent received a ticket from a user demanding his mouse cursor move faster than his hand. He wasn't asking for sensitivity adjustments. He wanted the cursor to predict where he was going to click and arrive there before he even moved his wrist. He was essentially asking for a psychic operating system. 81. A steakhouse patron sent his filet mignon back because it was too cow-like. He demanded the chef cook the beef until it tasted like chicken. He insisted that a skilled chef should be able to transmute the protein structure of the meat through heat alone to change its biological classification. 82. A bridal shop received a frantic call from a bride demanding they stop her dress from aging. She wasn't talking about yellowing fabric. She wanted the dress to remain in a state of perpetual newness, rejecting the laws of entropy. She expected the store to spray it with a chemical that would freeze time around the garment. 83. A customer at a garden center tried to return a bag of potting soil because it was too dirty. She demanded a refund, claiming she expected clean dirt that wouldn't stain her hands or clothes. She genuinely wanted a synthetic, mess-free earth substitute that still contained all the nutrients of organic compost. 84. A passenger on a cruise ship demanded the captain stop the boat so she could fish off her balcony. When told the ship couldn't halt for one person, she demanded they slow down the fish instead. She wanted the crew to tranquilize the marine life so she could catch a marlin while moving at 20 knots. 85. A coffee shop customer ordered a decaf latte but demanded it give him energy. He insisted on the caffeine-free buzz, asking the barista to add a herbal stimulant that felt exactly like espresso but wasn't espresso. He wanted the chemical reaction of a drug without actually consuming the drug. 86. Shadows are a natural consequence of light, but a homeowner called a landscaping company to demand they remove the shadow from his oak tree. He wasn't asking them to cut the tree down. He wanted the tree to remain standing but cast zero shade on his grass. He insisted they install anti-shadow lights to cancel out the darkness physics created. 87. A pet groomer was asked to dye a poodle to match a specific Pantone color swatch of a living room sofa. The owner then demanded the groomer guarantee the dog wouldn't shed, not because of allergies, but because she didn't want the wrong-colored new hair to clash with the dyed fur. She essentially wanted the dog to stop growing biology. 88. A library patron tried to check out the internet. Not a hotspot device, but the internet itself. He handed the librarian a USB drive and demanded she download the whole thing onto it so he could browse offline at home. He refused to believe the web was larger than 16 gigabytes. 89. A gym member demanded the personal trainer do the exercises for him. He argued that since he was paying for the session, the trainer should lift the weights and he would receive the muscle gain by proxy. He genuinely believed that observing fitness was just as effective as performing it. 90. A car rental customer returned a vehicle with an empty tank and demanded a refund for the gas he didn't use. His logic was that the car had a range of 400 miles. He only drove 50, so the rental company owed him the value of the potential miles left in the tank that he graciously left behind. 91. A movie theater concession stand worker was yelled at because the popcorn was too loud. The customer demanded a silent snack option, insisting they serve chemically softened popcorn that wouldn't crunch when chewed, so he could eat without missing dialogue. He wanted mushy corn that defied the very concept of a snack. 92. A hotel guest called maintenance to demand they fix the moon. He claimed the moonlight was shining directly into his eyes through the gap in the curtains and demanded they go to the roof and tilt the moon a few degrees to the left. He treated the celestial satellite like a hallway sconce. 93. A computer repair shop had a customer demand they remove the judgmental tone from her GPS voice. She insisted the automated voice sounded sarcastic when saying recalculating and demanded they reprogram the AI to be more supportive of her wrong turns. She wanted a therapy session, not navigation. 94. A restaurant patron ordered a salad but demanded the chef remove the calories before serving it. She wasn't asking for no dressing. She insisted the kitchen use a special preparation method to extract the caloric energy from the lettuce leaves while keeping the fiber intact. She wanted to eat matter without the energy consequences. 95. A homeowner hired a painter but demanded he use invisible paint for the fence. He wanted the wood protected from rot but didn't want to see the gloss or color of any sealant. He demanded a chemical coating that was physically there but optically non-existent to the human eye. 96. An airline passenger demanded the flight attendant tell the pilot to stop banking the plane. She claimed the tilting sensation was messing up her drink and demanded the plane fly perfectly flat around corners, ignoring the laws of aerodynamics that keep the aircraft in the sky. She wanted the plane to drift like a car. 97. A customer at a hardware store tried to return a hammer because it hurt his thumb. He demanded a safety hammer that would automatically detect flesh and refuse to strike if his finger was in the way. He blamed the tool for his lack of aim and demanded smart technology from a lump of steel. 98. A zoo visitor demanded the keepers separate the male and female animals because she didn't want her children to see how babies are made. She insisted the zoo implement a strict celibacy policy for the entire animal kingdom during her 2-hour visit to protect her family's innocence. 99. A hotel guest demanded a refund because the ocean water was too salty. He claimed he couldn't swim with his eyes open and insisted the resort filter the entire coastline to be fresh water for his comfort. He expected the Pacific Ocean to be a giant, chlorine-free swimming pool. 100. A smartphone user contacted support to demand his battery percentage stay at 100% all day. He wasn't asking for better battery life. He wanted the number on the screen to be hard-coded to never drop, regardless of actual power levels, because seeing the number go down gave him anxiety. He preferred a sudden shutdown to the truth. 101. Finally, a man sued a time zone. He demanded the government shift his state's time back by 1 hour permanently because he was always late for work. He insisted that rather than waking up earlier, the entire population should adjust their clocks to accommodate his inability to manage a morning alarm. That was a marathon of absolute madness, and I honestly don't know how society is still functioning if these people are allowed to vote and drive cars. Now, I need to know the truth. What is the single dumbest thing a customer has ever said to your face? Drop the story in the comments. I want to see if you can beat the wireless cable guy. Hit like if you feel bad for retail workers and subscribe for more chaos.